Evening and welcome back to another video. Today's video we're going to just look at some key bits of information regarding this slump in the market in the last 24 hours. What we as Bitcoin or cryptocurrency holders can do in this bearish market in quotations, and what the outlook is. So as usual, guys, everything I talk about is my opinion. It's not financial advice. Please do your research and let's get on with it. So as usual, we'll start off with the market cap and what things are looking like. Not as bad as yesterday's losses. XRP has gone green, which is good to see. A few other altcoins have gone green. Tron, that might be in the news of the SEC higher we spoke about a couple of days ago. Bitcoin is just tinkering on moving to the green. This weekend will be interesting. Last weekend we pumped up around 8 or 9 billion. So I'm interested to see what happens over this weekend. Still no real news or negative news about why the market just took a major dip. We lost 3 billion from yesterday's video, but we kind of stabilized ourselves on this $3,700. So whether this is it, it's hard to say at the moment. And that kind of takes me on to my first article. So Vinny Lingham forecasts Bitcoin price for 2 months trading between $3,000 and $5,000. So Vinny Lingham, CEO of blockchain identity platform Civic, has revised down his short-term Bitcoin price on January 11th, which is today, telling financial news network Cheddar that cryptocurrency could fall below $3,000. In an interview, Lingham, who had previously forecast BTC to USD to trade between $3,000 and $6,000 in coming months, said the market would either break out or break down. The reality is it's probably trade sideways between $3,000 and $5,000 for another month or two, while trying to find which way to go. I mean, that's kind of what we've been happening for the last couple of weeks until last week, kind of just been hovering around a $3,800 Bitcoin. And obviously we're still very heavily reliant on Bitcoin because obviously it's sitting at 52.5% dominance. Is it going to fall below that? It can entirely, like you said, I mean, it's only going to go one way. And if it is it going to fall? In my opinion, another good time to buy, because there's only going to be so much more push down or sell-offs before the bulls take hold and the positive news flows through. And whether that just be Bitcoin or more news on XRP, it's going to the good news is going to overwhelm the bad news. And like I mentioned in yesterday's video, a lot of this trading, a lot of this sell-off could be just down to non-emotional trading, technical analysis trading, just literally looking at chart, looking at the resistance, and then just doing sells on Bitcoin. And unfortunately, in this case, possibly more sells than buys, and we break the resistance and the price drops, and it breaks another resistance and the price drops further. So, we've seen previous predictions of $1,500 or $3,000. This $3,000 conversation of the bottoming. I think everyone's getting a bit tiresome of the conversation of where is the bottom, and unfortunately, the greatest traders in the world, Warren Buffett, whoever, just doesn't know. Market sentiment pulls it one way, regardless of what one person may or may not think. We all want a bottom to know where to buy in would be lovely. If someone said $3,000 and that would be the bottom, everyone would be throwing their money into it. Just like a prediction video of me saying that Bitcoin is going to hit $90,000 this year, everyone's going to throw their money in even now. So again, yesterday's video and today's video, opinion, advice, whatever. stay positive. Advice, I can give that advice. Stay positive without being sued. Always stay positive. Crypto market is a market that you know, if you've just come into it, welcome. Um, get ready for the ride. Basically, some of us have been in it for some time. Some people have been there longer than me. You know, I've only been here for 5 years in the crypto market. People have been there from the beginning, have seen ups and downs, and they know all about this roller coaster ride, and it's exciting. You know, we understand, the more we read, the more we learn. We empower ourselves by learning. We empower ourselves by being bank accounts, being banks ourselves, not bank accounts, being banks. So continue being positive. There's too much good sentiment, too much good news, too much adoption going on from this year to last year. You know, I listened to one podcast. If they would talk about Bitcoin on the news in a positive light, Bitcoin would just suddenly shoot up, 10%, 15%. And that was just somebody saying, I like Bitcoin, or oh, that Bitcoin idea is pretty cool, or blockchain's pretty good. We've got, companies like Goldman and ICE and the New York Stock Exchange and Fidelity, and even companies like Barclays talking about Bitcoin, or the potential rumor that Bitcoin, a crypto exchange desk or a Bitcoin ETF, a Bitcoin swaps in real Bitcoin, not the futures what we had from last year. Now we should be expecting to see 30-40% rises. It's just not happening at the moment. But trust in the coin, trust in its value to change things, trust in its adoption, trust in its real world solutions, and things will go ahead. Again, Constantinople, Ethereum, XRP, all its backing, EOS and its partnerships, IOTA and its partnerships, Bitcoin and the Lightning Network, Bitcoin as a store of value of being gold. People can't ignore that news, for too much, for not long enough. Warren Buffett may talk negatively about it and call it rat poison from last year, which is a famous quote, but in the same instance talk about he doesn't know anything about cryptocurrency. So we're starting to hear less of that negative and more of the positive. So keep on being positive. But this may link to another article I want to talk about on the same sort of vein, is 0% success, why blockchain apps just aren't taking off. And it's going to take a while for dApps, decentralized apps, to make their way. We spoke about the whole market was raving on about dApps and Ethereum, building on Ethereum, or building on EOS, or building on Tron, or whatever other coin which have the dApps possibility. Even there's a possibility that they could do dApps on Bitcoin. But you need, the crowd to push it too. Us in the community know about CryptoKitties on Ethereum, but outside of the cryptocurrency community, how many people know about CryptoKitties? It sounds like a bit of a joke, but it's a game. It's a game that people play. It's not available on mobile devices as of yet that I know of, certainly not on iOS. You can only play on your desktop computer, but it's there. But do enough people know about it, and this article goes on to talk about build a product, not a protocol. It's the idea of we're preaching a philosophy of a blockchain as opposed to going out and doing it. But just remember, it takes one good dApp to ignite the flame. If you look at what was this very famous game, Flappy Birds on iOS, the guy had to actually left iOS. He kind of closed the project down because he got too much requests. It became too much of a popular game. But what did you do? It was a bird, and you tap on the screen, and it was just literally to avoid getting flying into a building. And such a simple concept, and it made so much probably money for that individual developer with any add-ons. And then you got all the other sort of Pokemon Go games or whatever. Nothing too complicated really. But again, these sort of dApps will help us in the community see our prices rise, and again, adoption of cryptocurrency or tokens as it is, and then you'll see much more swaps. If you have a popular game and something trying to do, and you can swap or you can donate or you can buy stuff with tokens like TRX or Ethereum or EOS or whatever it may be, that gets the market flowing. And you need these sort of products as well as exchanges and other big stuff. You also need these games to really help. And we just need some of these projects to take off the ground and get good sort of marketing done in terms of advertising, and we'll be there. Again, the fact that it's not working is not necessarily a negative. I just think they seem to be approached in a different way, a lot like a company trying to sell a product. And in fact, this company, so this article even talks about the fact that don't let users tell us don't let users tell you what to do. Facebook released the news feed to overwhelming negative public response. Apple product launches have all been met with the same media reaction: too expensive to succeed. Netflix moved to streaming and lost over 1 million customers in the transition. You have to make some bold decisions. Apple people will always criticize Apple for phones being expensive, but guess what? Regardless of their income, their profit earnings for in Q4 2018, they're still making loads of money. And if you look at the iPad, certainly in the UK, if you buy the most expensive iPad, it's £1,700, which is in dollars wise probably what, $2,300 to $3,400. That's an iPad, but people buy this stuff, and you have to tell the consumer industry, this is what we've got and this is what we're going to do, instead of pandering to people and saying, would you like this? Facebook does make changes and just pushes it out there and waits for the response, and then if people are very negative, they pull it back. If they don't, they just keep it there. We're becoming a powerful industry, we're becoming a powerful market. We need to harness our power and get these products out there and people using them, but in a way that people can easily use them, easily play them on the phone, and also incentivize them. Some of these games may need to be incentivized. People want something for playing sometimes, and whether it be rewards or whether it be something simple like what Tron might be doing, which is TRX tokens when you win something or when you donate something and things like that. But it's not a negative app. It's just a way that people need to possibly, or companies need to look at a different way to approach why blockchain apps aren't taking off. So, and it doesn't need to be games. You could build a whole app store on a blockchain, or you could build a whole app store on, for example, EOS. And just imagine this: imagine you had a phone powered by EOS blockchain, and the app store was EOS apps. Obviously, I'll be hitting a very a very competitive market, but there's nothing stopping them trying to produce this product. You've got the Siren Labs who've got a phone, and possibly if it's come out or coming out, and whether they'll have their own sort of app store. And that's what we need. We need real world products which we can get out there and people can use, and it's whether it's built on Android or whatever it's going to be, we need it in people's hands, and then they can start using the apps, and those apps can start making money, and then you can exchange in those currencies. That's the way I see it going until you get stuff in people's hands, especially when they use it every day. Whether, again, exactly how wallets are going to work for easy to use apps, which are blockchain apps. So hopefully we should see some positive news over that this year, especially from EOS, who've got a lot of money behind them in terms of funding, and whether that funding is going to be given to projects. And I know Vitalik Buterin has given donations to projects on the Ethereum blockchain to produce or to start off production of such things. Don't want to spend too much time on that, but it's an important thing to help us move forward from a different angle. Anyway, let's move on. And to end with some good news for Ripple, another partnership. So always great to hear for Ripple, or any good news in the cryptocurrency community is always welcome to me. Even though it may be coins I do or do not like, it's always great to hear just positivity in the market. All we need, harmony, no arguments, and no infighting. So Ripple got a new partner in Australia, XRP USD catapults, can't even say the word, catapults to 39 cents. Now this was from yesterday. Now obviously the XRP price is up again today, but not much. So Flash FX will use Ripple's technology for cross-border services. Ripple's XRP is growing strongly during Asian hours. So again, this was probably yesterday morning. An Australian payment transfer platform, Flash FX, has entered a partnership deal with Ripple. The company will use Ripple's cross-border payment solution to improve the foreign exchange services in Australia. And they quote, and I read, "We are excited to be part of the evolution in international payment processing. It's about time that consumers and businesses saw a meaningful change in how money is sent across borders. The service provides an alternative for Australians who want to send a payment faster and cheaper than banks currently provide." Nicholas Steger, the CEO of FlashFX, said, commenting the news. So again, good news for both people. If you're offering a product which is cheaper than banks offer, and faster, and you're already well established, it's kind of a no-brainer. Now, if you're sending money cross-border and you're doing it for, if it's going to be the same price of what XRP charge for cross-border, it may or may not be, but certainly lower than banks. This is only good news for both. Now, I think they'll be using the XRP or XRP protocol for this, again, great news. We heard some news of the banks that XRP or Ripple have brought on board. And they've slowly started releasing the names of these, and they released 15 the other day. Again, I'll try and find the article of the full list. I can only seem to find articles from last year or December last year, so I was trying to find something a bit more recent to provide you guys in the link. But again, real world solutions, another company signed up. Just remember, guys, there's a massive supply of XRP, but every time the XRP token is used, it is burnt. So the more people, more companies, more transactions are done back and forth using XRP, inevitably the price will go up. So we need more partners, and again, great news from Brad Garlinghouse, the CEO of Ripple. They've really got their head stuck on. They've really got a good team in terms of people from the SEC. A good focus on what they're trying to achieve. The fact that they're trying to or have set up an office in Dubai, and the UAE is very anti. I wouldn't say anti, but less favorable with Swift, and wants to try something new. So you've got the whole UAE community. You've got Abu Dhabi and Dubai and Sharjah, big countries, and even possibly countries like Saudi Arabia, who've got a lot of wealth for Ripple to get in with. And if Dubai wants to be a blockchain city, although it's actually a state, and they can use something like XRP or Ripple protocols for transfers within the country, or use that as a second currency, or transfers to other countries. Imagine the price of XRP. And I've obviously given my prediction of a $15 to $20 XRP by the end of this year. And obviously we haven't even got to $1 yet. But again, with this positive news and the more deals which come out, and we need some momentum, and the momentum may start with Coinbase listing XRP, and it's gone a bit quiet with the Coinbase listings. Not even Stella's on there yet. So once that gets on there and a lot of people know the name Ripple or XRP and people start buying into it, we should see a price rise. So ending on a good note, well done Ripple securing another deal, and I hope to be bringing more information about deals that they've secured over the next couple of weeks, if not months, and if not years. So let's say everyone listening, have a great weekend. Whatever you're planning this weekend, hope it's fabulous. 2 days of rest before work. So have a great time with your family. Enjoy it. Stay positive with the crypto markets. If you guys got any questions, please comment below and like and subscribe. And I'll see you guys on the next video. Goodbye, everybody.